right, everybody, what is up? I'm going to do, well, attempt to do my first ever review, I guess, unboxing. I don't know what you want to call it. So try not to slaughter me if I mess it up. And unfortunately, I have to make it kind of quick because I got to pick up my daughter soon. Maybe it was a bad decision to do this now, but we'll see. If I don't like it, then I'll just redo it. So what we're going to take a look at today is the Holosun AEMS Advanced Enclosed Micro Sight. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way. You can get yourself a single 2 MOA dot, 65 MOA circle, a black and white cat, and the circle dot combination. Now I know some of you might ask what MOA is. I don't know, don't worry, nobody knows that. More boring stuff. Let's see, encloses a blah, 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 cares, 50-hour, 20, yeah, bullshit. So just a heads up, when they say these 50-hour, 20-hour nonsense, that's on a setting that is so, sorry, I was trying to focus, so low that you can't even use it in the middle of the night. So realistically, you're gonna get less than advertised. I mean, it may be in some rare instances. There's some people out there that will be able to use setting like 4 or 5 or 6 and get away with it. And those people are gods, obviously. But for the rest of us, it's not going to be quite that long, which is one reason why EOTechs suck with their 2,000 hour battery life, which isn't even that. Okay, solar powered, memory function, blah, 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 8 daylight, 4 night vision, brightness settings. I live in the desert. I've had this out. Okay, cat, seriously. Yeah, I know. It is definitely bright enough to get the job done. And that's midday, approaching summer. Lower third co-witness. I have mine on another riser until I get a night vision riser because I like heads up passive shooting. We'll get into that more later. 70-75. Someone I read in line said it was 60-65 or whatever the lower one is. Aluminum housing and mount. So I guess not. Parallax free. Is it though? Is it though? Are any of these parallax free? The one thing I can give to EOTech is it is the best at being parallax free. I will give it that. IPX8 waterproof. So these boxes are always annoying. I hate these, the way they package these. But this one came off pretty easily. Sometimes they get stuck and you just what are you gonna do? You gotta burn it. Just burn the whole thing to get it off. So what do we get? The typical Holosun box. It's funny because I like this part, but the way they, begin to. Got your padding, very important. Instruction manual. Incandescent pack, make sure to always eat this. Sprinkle it on your salad or something to be healthy. Lens wipe, these get lost in 4 seconds. The multi-tool for doing the different functions, getting the battery tray out, tightening the mount, scratching the lens to make it look cool on the side of it, like you've been in battle with it. All the requisite stuff. And then what else do we have here? Spare battery tray. Now I love this because it's just nice that they included it. What's funny is the fact that they include this means I've never, ever lost a battery tray or a screw on one of these. But if they didn't include this, you'd lose every single one of these. So another good thing that this multi-tool is for is getting it out of here. So just wiggle it out like so, and we're good. So the first and most important thing, obviously, is how cool it looks. I mean, obviously, got ourselves some push button design, and the buttons, tactile feel as far as identifying is, unless you're proficient reading Braille. Like if I close my eyes, I guess I could determine that it's negative and positive. So, As far as having gloves on, no way. And as far as the size of the buttons, I think it's okay. I mean, unless someone else can chime in and say they, whatever their experience. But even with gloves on, you're probably not going to fat finger this with a little bit of practice. Another cool thing that sorry, like I said, this is the first time I do this, it's hard to. Another cool thing I personally think is you're going to notice is the built-in lens protectors. It's a good deal, and you know these help protect your lenses against getting scratched. Cool thing is getting dirty if you're out in the rain, mud, snow, or you know you just got too much hairspray. You get some overspray on there, trying to look cool for the battle. Just pop that down. If you find yourself in a pinch, you got to clean glass again, and then when you're done slaying all your enemies and hearing lamentations from their women, clean it off, pop it back up, clean it off, clean them both off. Back in business. The solar panel. Now, I'll tell you right now, the solar panel is nice. Prolongs battery life. I like all that stuff about it. However, this, like every other site I've owned, save one, and I'll get to it. It's got first off, the reticle is auto mode and a manual mode. Just as it kind of sounds, the manual mode is where you use the buttons to adjust the brightness to your current situation. Now, pros and cons to everything, right? Because if you're in a dynamic, I hate saying shit like that. If you're in a dynamic lighting situation, which means if you go from a bright room to a dark room, or if you're in a bright room and aiming in a dark spot, or if you're in a dark spot aiming in a bright spot, or if you're in a dark spot and turn your light on, your weapon light on, the reticle is going to say the same brightness, which might be too bright, or it might be not bright enough, and then you get shot and die. So you say, well, I'm going to switch to auto mode because computers or chips are smart and it'll think for me. Cool. Problem is like I said, there might be others out there, but 99% of these suck because they measure the light pretty much that's incoming in your area and not the light where you're aiming. So if it's dark in your area, it's going to turn the reticle down. But if it's bright where you're trying to aim, it washes the reticle out because now the darkness in your area has forced the sight or made the sight to say, oh snap, it's dark. Let me dim down the reticle so it's not too bright and blooms. But you're aiming into a bright area where it's lit, and now you can't see it because of the dim reticle. You can't really, it's just no good. Now, I bought some time ago, I think it was the Vortex. There's a Venom and a Viper. One of them had an auto feature where it had multiple sensors as far as I could tell. And it did an excellent, holy moly, an excellent job at determining the lighting condition of where you were aiming. Why these other companies haven't followed suit? Now, apparently Holosun has got a new one coming out that does that. And with some other cool. Okay, I just got interrupted by my alarm. I'm probably not going to have enough time to finish this. I'll have to do it in a couple takes. Anyway, so the auto feature, maybe I'm using it incorrectly. I made a mistake once, like 13 years ago, so it's possible. What else am I going to get into here? Because I'm going to have to break this up. The mount, it's your standard. I mean, it's better than I don't know how they are now, but when primary arms was first getting popular, and I'd buy one of their T1 knockoffs, and even some of the Holosun ones, or even pretty recently, some of the cheaper models, and the mounts are just awful. They're awful. This is like a 70-75. It's a solid mount. I mean, it's the weight is there. I mean, I'm gonna pull a nut and fancy here and get crazy over the weight, which technically is right. The weight's important. It's not one that you're immediately going to be like, oh, I got to get rid of this garbage. It's not bad, at least in my opinion. Okay, what else? So you can tell that I'm very, very happy with the site, but we're getting on to the problem. At least some guys will think it's a problem, and it is a problem. Let's be honest, it's a problem. It's just either going to bother you or it's not. It doesn't bother me as long as I haven't had a chance to fire this, that the bullets go where they need to go. The cat is obviously not happy with my presentation because he hasn't looked over here once. So, do I delve into it now, or do I get ready to go? Well, I guess I can try, and it's just not going to work. Let me cover one quick thing. I know I started bagging on EOTech, and there'll be plenty of that to come. One of the things where I will give the EXPS line is, if I remember correctly, I've blocked it all out of my mind. I've repressed most of the EOTech stuff out of my mind from all the trauma, but seeing the emitter from the front. So let's say you're in a dark situation, a low light situation, and the enemy sees your emitter and now you're dead. And everybody screams that online, like it happens constantly. And like it's not kind of a self-correcting problem, because if you're in go mode and by the time the enemy sees your emitter, kind of a self-fixing problem, because you're either yelling instructions at them to get down or you're plugging them. I mean, so if you're gonna ride this as the hill you're gonna die on, then show me your illuminator that doesn't have, you know, some sort of front signature. Oh, I got my full power pack. Still kind of got one. A little. Granted, it's almost none. Anyway, you get the point. The EOTech does have it here. Take the prize here, but you know, what am I gonna do? I gotta be fair, right? As much as I've had bad experiences with EOTech, you got to give them credit where they're due. The front-facing emitter, and they look cool. They don't look as cool as this, I don't think, but they look way cooler than the 510Cs, the Holosuns, which the 510C is a better sight, in my opinion, than the EOTechs. I'll start to get into that, but I'm going to have to cut this one short and come back to it. Poop. All right, and fin. All right, sorry, everybody, I'm back. Before I was so rudely interrupted by having to pick up my daughter. What are you
Hi.
Yeah, these kids, you need to walk. You need to walk to school both ways uphill.
No.
With no shoes in the wintertime.
No.
Yeah. All right. Hit the bricks.
No
You
thanks.
can't. You know, when you gnawing away on a stolen cheeseburger, my cheeseburger. All right, cat. I know the world doesn't revolve around
The
you.
cat's chewing on your cheeseburger.
Holy moly. All right. So where was I? Talking about EO junks, or no? Well, we'll get back to that. So we've already talked about the battery life. I'm trying to, you know, regain. I'm trying to regain my wits about me here between having to pick her up and the cat. I gotta stop saying ums. What I wanted, the bad, all right? I think I've covered the good. You know, it looks cool, which, well, what else do you need to talk about? Solid. Glass is very clear. Some guys complained of magnification. I don't.
Dada, Mommy wants you to go back to Walgreens.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot. I don't. I'm doing a video. I'm sorry. I don't. I mean, it might be 1.1. Some guys say it's like 1.5, and maybe there's some variance. Maybe the Holosun QC is a little suspect. I mean, I don't know. But I don't see a lot of magnification on this unit. All right, you sit. You stay over there. Now my 507K, the little one on my SIG, my 365, that has some magnification and it's very noticeable. It doesn't bother me. That's not the type of thing that bothers me. If that's the type of thing that bothers you, then well, hey, this might be up your alley. I don't see a lot on mine. That's just me. Everybody's eyes are different. The glass is clear as far as the tint. I mean, obviously there's a little tint. I think most of these have some. It's better than, see if I can get a decent, I mean, there's a little blue to it. There, that's probably hopefully this comes across on camera. That's a pretty good representation there on that white box. So you have some, but it's a tad better from what I can see from the 510Cs. So, not bad. Let's see if we can get, maybe you can see a little bit of the magnification because you can see the letters get a little better. But that just might be the camera and the small amount of cut light transmission, because this doesn't let 100% of the light transmission. That just might be reflecting some of the glare. Okay, seriously. Yeah, you're right, you're going down. So we've talked about magnification, clarity of glass. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional. Well, I am a professional, but you know. This is just what I can see based off of my experiences with other sites. So far so good. So what's the bad, you're probably asking? Well, like besides Michael Jackson, let's take a gander at the reticle and the positions on the glass. So hopefully we can see this well, you know. So middle of the glass, great, no problems. Let's go down right to the edge, because right at the edge is where you're going to find a lot of, especially the more budget sites, start to get wonky. So we're really good. No dimming of the reticle, no distortion of the reticle. It's really good. Really good up there, halfway up. It's really good. All right, so 50% of the window and down is just perfect. Now let's start to go up towards the middle. It might not translate on the camera. It's now, to my eyes in real life, it's a little more pronounced, so I'll try to help everybody along here. When you go up to the top, it's a very, very, very slight, the reticle dims 5%, 2%, whatever. And there isn't really any distortion. The problem is let's go to the upper two corners. Now, will it show up on the camera in my shaky hands? God, like Michael J. Fox over here. Okay. So it doesn't seem like it's showing up on the camera. Maybe a tad. Bummer. Well, take my word for it. The reticle at about that far of a distance starts to dim noticeably on both sides. So kind of a bummer. That's not the type of thing that bothers me. So as long as the bullet hits where that dot is, I don't care. If that type of thing is a deal breaker for you, if it messes with your eyes, if you just can't deal with it, maybe it's better on the white. If you just can't deal with that, then, you know, this might not be the site for you. Darn it. Because it's definitely noticeable in person. I'm looking at it right now, and you can definitely see it. And I don't know. I suspect it has something to do with the curvature of the glass. But I could not the cover, I don't think, because I take the cover off and it still does it. I think it's the actual glass. Like I said, I'm not going to let that ruin what I feel is an excellent site. I mean, it's really nice. But like I said, I know from reading the forums that there's a lot of guys out there that hate that shit. And I get it. It's not like these are budget anymore. At least the mid-tier and up brands from Holosun, this was $429.99 plus tax and shipping. Actually, Midway had a coupon, so I got like $35 off on it. So tax shipped, it came to like $400. It was a pretty good deal. Well, depending on your take on things in life, I guess, relative. And I get how guys would be like, for $400, it just shouldn't do that, period. And maybe it's just this one. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It might bother you. Both physically, as far as your eyesight, and philosophically, just might get a burr up your ass about it. I remembered looking at the mount that apparently the first couple batches of these, the mount screws were a little off. I believe it was the rear one. So if you go to changing it with an aftermarket mount, it won't work, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? I believe Holosun said that if you send in your unit, they will send you one with the proper mounting. You'll get a new one. So that's solid, right? I mean, people F up, companies F up. It's inevitable. You don't want to see it that much, but when they do, it's how do they respond? It's just like people. Do they deny? Do they deflect? Do they say it's everybody else's fault or their own? Or do they say, I'll take care of you 100%, it was our fault? That's, that's pretty solid, Unlike EOTech, who was kind of forced to do it through a lawsuit with their junk. Don't worry, I'll tell you how I really feel about EOTech. I know, see, I've chopped up this video because I got interrupted, so I'm trying to remember if I forgot something. So this is probably going to be a terrible review, and I'm going to look like a big doofus, but that doesn't bother me. Oh, duh, light transmission with passive aiming. Now, I think I explained it in the other video, which I trashed in order to make this one again. When you're using night vision, for those of you who don't know, if you know this, I don't know, skip ahead a couple of minutes. When you're using night vision and you're trying to aim with your weapon, traditionally you would use an IR, infrared, so it can be seen with just night vision and not the naked eye. So you'd traditionally use an IR laser as just like a regular visible laser. You put the laser on what you want to shoot, and that's where that's where the speedy, hot, pointy thing goes. So in addition with that, you're going to usually, it's usually you have, well, if you're trained properly, in my opinion, you're going to have an IR illuminator, an infrared illuminator, which basically is just a flashlight in IR. And the problem with that is with the proliferation of night vision devices throughout the world, especially in the hands of our enemy, whoever they happens, the enemy du jour, whoever we decide it is, more and more of them have these because we left them places or whatever, a million reasons people get them that shouldn't have them. So the second you activate your infrared laser and illuminator, sure, your target gets smoked, but everybody else who's wearing night vision knows exactly pretty much where you are. Now, if you train properly and have the proper procedures and you boom, you're quick about it, you can mitigate that, but it is what it is. It's there. There's no getting around it. So in that instance, when you know your enemy has night vision capability, which, keep in mind, it doesn't have to be night vision. It can be something as simple as a camera that can pick that up. So don't be thinking that, oh, well, they don't have, everybody's got night vision nowadays pretty much to some degree or another. It might not be as high speed as a Generation 3 tube, but don't kid yourself, okay? So what's the solution for that? It's called passive aiming. It's where you use your day sight just like you would, except for when you're wearing your nods. So let's say you got these hanging off your helmet. You line up your head and your tube, you're looking right through the day optic. Boom, there you go. You put this on one of its night vision settings. And you got yourself a reticle, and you don't have to use your IR laser and IR illuminator, which is, as you may guess, extremely useful if other people are around that don't like you that also have night vision capability. The problem is light transmission. Night vision needs light to amplify to be able to get the image to you so you can see. Well, if you're operating in an extremely dark environment where you're almost at, let's say, the limit of your night vision already, but you're getting along, and you go to passively aim through your sight, and because of the coatings that these things have on the lenses, there is going to be some light transmission issues. You're going to get some cut. I don't care what sight you use. Now, EOTechs are good at this. That's another. So they have two things, in my opinion, three: the looks, the front-facing emitter, and they're good with light transmission. Now, once again, the Holosun 510C, which is a direct competitor, I believe, A lot of guys parrot online and regurgitate saying, oh, it's not as good. Well, those guys must have not have had a 510C and the EOTech, because I have, and I've done a direct comparison, and the 510C is so close as it makes no difference as far as like transmission. At least the ones I had, and I was comparing against a brand new XPS. The word on the streets is this is just as good, if not better, than the 510C. So I have to check for myself. Maybe I'll try to get some footage tonight and roll it in with this video. But that's another one of the bonuses, along with the big window. That's another favorite, the big window. And you know, the smaller tubes, like when you get the T2s, T1s, you know, MROs, it's harder to kind of, it just makes it harder to see the reticle. So passive aiming, I guess that's a long-winded version of saying this is supposedly good with passive aiming, good to go. So it checks a lot of boxes. If it just weren't for the kind of distortion up in the corners, which again doesn't bother me, this sight would be, you know, A+. Some guys are still going to think it's an A+. I'm going to give it an A, because I do recognize that from a philosophical point, for this much money, that should not happen on the glass. Unless there's some technical reason that needs to occur, which I don't know, though, because other similar, well, I guess I shouldn't say similar, because the EOTech's name points are a couple $100 more. They don't do that. I know that the lenses have to be canted so that you can actually get the reflection from the emitter. But I don't think there's a technical reason we're getting that distortion and fade I talked about up here. But admittedly, I don't know. Again, I'm going to give this an A, not an A+, just because of that feature anyway. I don't care. It shouldn't, for $400, it shouldn't be there, I think. I mean, I'm talking out of my ass, but that's what I think. So I would recommend, if you're still on the fence going down, maybe you got a local gun shop that has these in stock, and I think you'll be impressed. Feels solid. That's the mount that you hear. It feels solid. It looks great. The glass is great. The reticle's crisp. The battery, you know, the hours are there. The IPX rating is there. It's all there. The mount, the stock mount's solid enough. You know, I'm looking at a QD one, but still, you don't have to. So, yeah, I know I'm being a little bit long-winded, but who doesn't like hearing me talk, you know? So, but yeah, so, you know, I'm not simping for Holosun. They haven't obviously paid me any money to do this. I just saw it and I was interested in it. So I offed one of my 510Cs off the gun that this is going to replace it on. Got it in the mail, and it's for me, it's a keeper for sure. Definitely a keeper. So, is what it is. You can make your own decisions. If you buy one and don't like it, you can just send it to me and I will definitely dispose of it for you. So I got you covered there. I suppose I should have some sort of catchphrase, because that's what all the popular channels do, right? I got to think one up. Who can help me think one up? Like an ending catchphrase, or maybe an intro. Oh, I hate long intros though. Like when guys have channels and they have this fucking long intro, and it's like, no one cares, dude. Just get to it. Oh, and when they beg for likes and all that jazz, oh, I hate that too. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna say peace out from me, peace out from Tactical Cat, peace out from Tactical Rabbit, and I'll be back, Jessica and I will be back with another Bible reading video. Well, I've got one to upload, and then we've got to make another one today, I believe, so you'll be seeing a lot of us soon. So, for my tens of viewers,